Hi and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee Judges in the building. And also we've got a couple of special guests today. We've got Louise and Matt joining us. They're going to be telling us about this excellent sort of initiative they've set up in their son's name. You know, I didn't want to reveal it too much. They're going to explain it later on, but it's absolutely fantastic what they are doing for the Arsenal community. So you don't want to miss what they've got to say later on. But yeah, Lee, good to have you here. Just to remind everybody that this video and this podcast is being powered by NordVPN. NordVPN keeps you safe from malware with threat protection by scanning files whilst they're downloaded and warns you about potentially dangerous websites. This is what Mikel Arteta needs to be using this season to keep his tactics safe and sound, especially Postecoglou trying to look over to see what it is. Head over to nordvpn.com/AFTV or click the link in the description below to get 4 months, yes, 4 months of NordVPN for free with their brilliant 2-year plan. It's risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. So get involved with that right now. And Lee, we'll be using that next week when we're on our way over to Lons.
We will be. I just got to say, that was so professional.
Oh, yeah, I'll try to be, bro.
Yeah, I
tried to be, man.
I couldn't do that.
You wouldn't even be able to see it.
And he done that in one take as well. Like, no, I ain't got my glasses.
But listen, it's good to be here. On the back to winning ways, Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, beating Brentford by a goal to nil. Another clean sheet away from home.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal, and my God, we had to work for it. That did not seem like you know, a Carabao Cup game. That was like more like a proper, full-on Premier League game.
Yeah, I've got to say, I actually went there yesterday. Like, I'm not really looking forward to it. I've still got the ump from the weekend, and I was a little bit down, but like got into the ground as soon as the game kicked, and the way we started off the game, got into it. I thought we was brilliant in the first half. Some real top performances from the players that I think needed games. I thought Nelson was outstanding on the day. Tomiyasu, brilliant. Kivior, brilliant. Aaron Ramsdale, magnificent. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he was. That saving.
I didn't even know he saved it, Rob. I just thought he hit the post.
Yeah, no, he saved it. He tipped it onto the post.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant save.
Yeah, brilliant save, and I thought he'd done really well. But all round, I thought they played well. Jorginho, you know, brave on the ball when he has to be. I don't know if you noticed in the game, I noticed it yesterday, he was picking the ball up, and as soon as he gets the ball, our central defenders go real wide. So if he does mess it up there, they're writing on their goal. So he has to be very brave and a lot of responsibility there. I didn't notice that so much, you know, until yesterday. And even away from home, it's a big responsibility. He takes it, even though he made that mistake, he was still brave enough to pick the ball up in dangerous areas.
Forgiving him now?
Huh?
You're forgiving him for that?
Not
mistake?
really. I'd just say, I'd shake his hand now, like, you know what I mean. But no, like, yeah, he hasn't done it deliberately, has he? But I thought he played well as well. And I tell you, one of the best things of the night, I don't know if he showed it on TV, is when El Neni at the end of the game, they was pushing him forward to take the, you know, fans' applause and all that, like, and he was reluctant to do it. And Martin Odegaard pushed him, so he was there on his own. And I thought that was a real nice moment for the team. I think what
Mikel Arteta has done with that whole El Neni situation has been so good. And it's one of those things, right, that if you're part of a team, right, you remember things like that. You look on that and think, well, actually, you know what, this manager actually does care about us. Because what people forget is that obviously he got that injury, ACL, out for a whole season. But his contract was up as well. So
yeah, he renewed it, didn't he?
He renewed his contract knowing that he's going to miss a full season. They gave him an extra year on top of that. So in effect, they're saying, no, listen, you're injured for a year, but we're still going to reward you for your services and you know what you've been doing there, and we're going to give you an extra year. They could quite easily have just said to him, right, at the end of, you know, when your injury's recovered now, you're out of contract. You have to go and find a new club, which would have been
a lot harder,
pretty tough for him as well. You know what I mean, coming off the back of an injury. So I think that's really good what he's done there. And even though, you know, El Nini's not a main player and he's not going to figure, but I think that those sort of things work wonders around the place.
Yeah.
Because other players see that and think, oh, there's a bit of loyalty here.
And I think he contributed last night when he came on.
He did all right.
He done all right. So, like, last 10, 15 minutes of games, he can come in there and just, like, what we done yesterday, which was very interesting, he put, like, 2 in there. 2 holding midfielders and just sort of like said, right, come and break us down. And yeah, so I think it's something that they can use it for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I've never seen so many long throws.
They threw it on us, didn't they? They put it on us.
They put it. It was literally what they did to us that time when they beat us.
Yeah.
Remember that first game of the season, that Friday night when they beat us? That's what they did. But we just wilted that time. But today, in that game in the Carabao, I thought we really stood up to the test.
Yeah, stood up.
Even when they won second balls, we had so many bodies back behind the ball.
It was a good performance. I'd say, I like, you know, there was, you know, first half I thought I've never seen a crowd go so quiet. We quietened the crowd down, like, you know what I mean, from the off. You know, when they got into it second half, their fans got behind them and all that. So we've done the right thing there, keeping them quiet. But then there was a different part of our game where you got to dig in, you know what I mean, like grind out a result. And you know, I have to say I was quite confident looking into it that we was going to hold on, like, you know. And I thought, I've got to say, a big up to Mikel. I know I've criticised him the last few weeks and all that, but I will praise when I praise. I thought he got the team spot on. I thought he got his substitution spot on after as well, like. And I thought it was a really, really good, encouraging performance, showing that we've got a big enough squad. When it, like, you know, Man City went out yesterday as well, so the draw's opened up a little bit. We've got that massive club now, West Ham, you know what I mean, in the next round, like, you know. So Declan going back there a little bit earlier than what he thought. So yeah, and another. Well, I'll tell you what, another away trip though, like, you know.
Yeah. Away.
And Neil Lennon was saying, "Come on, pick out the 11. Come on, pick it out." I can't remember. What's the last time we had home tie?
I think probably last year we got beaten by Brighton.
Brighton, wasn't it? Like, yeah.
That Sago done all right as well, didn't he?
Done very well. Never heard of him.
Never heard of him
through that, like, you know, you hear of
Sago
a few words,
Junior.
you hear of Wanyeri and people like that coming through, but I've never heard of him. Done well. Done really well. Worked really hard, and that was another one that Martin Odegaard pushed forward at the end to just take his applause, you know what I mean? 19 years of age. He'd be very pleased today, wouldn't he? Like,
he'd be buzzing today. Yeah, no, he's absolutely. So you have got over the North London derby because of that?
No, not really. That was I'm not going to lie. You know, I was just talking off air. I'm disappointed. We didn't play well. You know what I mean? We didn't really turn up. I know Spurs played well, and credit to them for that. I have said that, but we weren't really at it. And you know, I know
we were in the I thought in the first half we were, but in the second half, I felt that, I don't know, man. We looked tired in that second half. We looked leggy, and just we had no control. I mean, obviously Declan Rice went off, but we lost control of the midfield completely then, and yeah, it was disappointing. It was disappointing.
And one of the things that I've said, like yesterday, like, you feel like we're away from home, we're in control. When I'm watching it at home, I feel like I'm playing the 90 minutes as well, like, because we're never in control. We're all over the shop. You know what I mean? Like, and I have to say, like, you know, there's 5 minutes to go in that North London derby, and I'm saying, we'll take the 2-2 and get out of here. And I don't want to do that against Spurs. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and of course then you get them, don't you? Crawling out of the woodwork. You know, I don't hear from some of them for 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, you know, one of my mates phoned up and said, "Oh, hello, Spurs must have been, you know what I mean, doing well. I ain't heard you for 6 months." Well, great draw, yeah, I mean, you lucky and all that, like, you know. And I say this now, as well as they played, they had their full strength team out there, like, you know, and they did play well. We didn't lose, and that is, I suppose, the thing you got to take from it.
I was doing Best of Enemies with Expressions and the way he was carrying on, and I said to him, I go, "Can you remind me of the result again?" I go, "You didn't actually win the game, you drew." I can understand why you're happy with a draw, and don't get me wrong, if we go to the Etihad, a place where we always lose, and we get a draw, I'm going to be buzzing as well.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to be carrying on like we won the game. You didn't actually win the game. I'd be looking on it and saying, step in the right direction and stuff like that. But the way some of their fans are carrying on, you'd have thought they won the game, and they forget it was a week. And we're not making excuses.
No.
But it was a weakened Arsenal team, wasn't it? It was
very weak.
There were some key players. When Declan Rice went off at half time, that's a key player to come out of a game like that.
That's a great point. And one of my Spurs mates, and I'm not going to mention him, but he does seem like he's you know, he's quite normal. He washes every day and things like that. But like he actually said missed opportunity, and I said, what do you mean? Right? He goes, well, you know, you had these players out and that was a good opportunity for us to put one over you.
Yeah.
And we missed out on it. So he see it from that side, like he goes, you know, because and what I thought that was a nice thing, because that means that, you know, when we've got our players and everything, we are a different side. Martinelli, by the way, massive loss when we
especially in games like that.
Games like that, massive,
yeah,
massive loss.
Matt and Louise were our guests today. You were at the game as well, the North London derby.
Yeah.
Frustrated as well, like we were.
Really frustrated. They played their best. We weren't playing our best. You know, the team that played last Wednesday in the Champions League, it was like a total different team, wasn't it? Obviously, we were missing those key players, but Trossard, Martinelli, when Rice went off, it was just so frustrating.
Yeah, I think the disappointment for me was going ahead twice.
Yeah.
And then coming back into it, that's what killed it for me.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing in the Premier League.
It feels more like a loss now.
Yeah, you can't lose leads twice.
Yeah,
once. I mean, once, and the second one, I'm still.
Yeah,
you know, I have forgiven Jorginho. I forgive him after the game, but it's criminal because he's got so many options to get rid of that ball, and why he started trying to chop it back and.
I don't know what he was trying to do.
Yeah, and it's like what you said, Lee. When he goes forward, they go outwards, and that left that gap for them to nick it off him and just run off with it.
He was exposed. You know what I mean?
Can't lose the ball in that position.
No.
Can't lose the ball, especially when you're like the last man.
No.
I mean, it's criminal.
Criminal.
You know? And the thing is, I said it, I go, they punish us for our mistakes. We didn't punish them for theirs, because Maddison gets the ball
same sort of situation
in the box. Yeah. Same thing.
Worse.
Yeah, you're right, worse. Jesus, just pick a spot.
That would have been 2-0, wouldn't it?
2-0,
yeah.
That would have been 2-0, probably been looking at a completely different game.
Yeah.
And we didn't take our chances.
Yeah.
And we didn't deserve to get more than a point out of the game.
No.
We also received a lot of messages after that match from people that we hadn't heard from for quite a long while.
Funny, that,
Yeah.
Yeah, they all come out.
They do. They can't help themselves.
They love a draw, don't they, Spurs? They love a draw.
That, you know, they're an unbelievable fan base. You know what I mean?
Were some of our fans now overreacting after that game? I know we're disappointed and everything, but you know, I remember speaking to some fans outside the game who basically saying, "That's it, league's gone," and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm looking at the league when I get home, and I'm like, we're 4 points off Man City, right? We're unbeaten so far. We haven't lost a game yet this season. I know we haven't. You can look at performances and say we haven't been at our best, nowhere near. But is that not I don't know. You can look on it two ways, I guess. Is it a good sign that we're not at our best, but we're still unbeaten, we're still getting the job done, or do you look at it and say, well, are we getting away with it at the moment? I mean,
I always think. Sorry, Robbie. I always think it's a good sign if you can sort of carve out results, wins, draws, you know, and play bad. Then we can only go one way, can't we? Start playing, getting our mojo, and I'm sure we'll do all right.
Where are you?
It's early days. Anything can happen, can't it? At the end of the day,
I echo those sort of things. But we're up against a team that I've not experienced. Like, you know, listen, we had the 4 point, 5 point, 6 point lead against them, and it still wasn't an 8 point lead. It wasn't enough. I don't think we can afford to drop more points and go behind them. That's my problem, like, you know. And you can tolerate one draw at home, you know what I mean, like to a Tottenham if that's the case. But on the back of a one against Fulham, I think we're struggling at home a little bit, and we need to start doing that. And listen, what was a little bit annoying for me in the game is that if we beat Manchester City now and we still don't go above them, if we beat Bournemouth, you know what I mean? Like, I think psychologically, if we would have like won last Sunday, beat Bournemouth, and then beat Manchester City, we go above them, and that would have been a real kick. So, you know, it's not a must-win game against them, but like, you know, or even on Saturday. But I just feel we cannot keep dropping points. at home, but we have got to start clicking sooner or later.
What is it about home at the moment? That should be our superpower at home.
That should be our safe space, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
Where
it should be. All right, we
back.
haven't actually lost the game at home yet, right? But why is it that, you know, we can go away? We saw against Brentford, they're absolutely putting it on us, right? And I love the way we defended, like so many bodies back behind. They just couldn't get a clear shot in, right? Clean sheet against Bournemouth for home, away. Clean sheet against Palace. Clean sheet against, you know, away from home. And then we come home and we just seem so wide open.
Yeah, I think that's something to do with it.
What is it? Why?
Well, you can't blame the fans, can you? Because like the fans,
they're right behind them.
Oh, it's like electric there. So.
Or is it that are the players getting too emotional and too carried away? Maybe. That they feel like they've got to go and score 3-4 and losing their discipline. What is it?
I think part of it is that the defenders have got to. When you're away from home, it's right, defend. When we're at home, I think it's like, right, get on the ball, make things happen, make space, do drop here, drop there, give an angle and all that. So I think that there's more emphasis on attacking than rather defending.
But if you look at that Brentford game, right, and you look at the what was the previous away game in the Premier League?
Palace was the last.
Palace, Everton,
yeah.
Right. We were attacking in those games. We had all the ball. We had all the possession. Right. So the first half against Brentford, we were attacking, but we were disciplined in our attacking.
Listen, Brentford had chances yesterday, Robbie.
In the second half,
there was one in the first half when they had he was in the penalty area and no one round him. We do allow teams to have chances. Now, a good team like Tottenham or the top half tables, they're going to bury them. You know what I mean? Like, so we got away with it a little bit, like, you know. I don't know what it is. You know, as I say, I don't feel we're ever really totally in control of a home game. When was the last time you thought, well, we totally controlled it? PSV we did.
PSV, yeah.
But like in the league, you know, I go back to Forest. We was all over the shop there at times. You know what I mean? Certainly against Spurs we were. Manchester United, it could have gone, you know, the other way. It was, you know, a millimetre and we lose that game, or we don't win it. So we've never really been in control. Where I was sitting there yesterday, I feel like I was in control. Even when they was coming forward, I feel like we can defend it properly. Where every time someone goes forward to the Emirates, I think they're going to score.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that as well. We sort of sit behind the goal and you see them coming towards us and you're thinking, oh no.
Yeah, you know. So I don't know if that's a feeling that the players are getting. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a real mystery. But
hopefully we'll be bringing that A game for the Man City match.
Well, that's it. That's a huge game. But before we got that game, we've got the Bournemouth as well. We're going to have a little chat about that. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask you two guys. You're holding up a picture there of a young child or a young kid, which I know was your son. I met you two at the Sidemen event, and you were telling me about the whole story around this, and I found it was brilliant, and that's why I said I want to get you guys on today to tell everybody about your story. So if you can tell us, I know you're both big Arsenal fans, tell us about the significance of the picture and what you guys have been doing.
So this picture is of our little boy George, and last year, following an 11-month battle with a glioblastoma brain tumour, George passed away aged just 13. So George was Arsenal running through his veins, massive gooner. He just kind of was totally healthy and then got headaches in April 2021, so he was 12 then, just out of the blue. Honestly, hardly ever been at the doctors in his life, and was then diagnosed with this GBM brain tumour for which there's no cure. So we went to Germany, didn't we? We went to America. We did everything we could to try and save George's life, but there just isn't enough research out there to beat this tumour. So brain tumours kill more young adults under 40 and of our children as well than any other cancer. So it's a massive issue. We've met loads of other parents now in the same position as us, but while George was poorly, it was really important to us because we knew he had a 0% chance of survival, that we made lots of memories doing the things that he loved. And obviously that meant a lot of Arsenal matches. So we were gifted tickets from the Claude Guna Trust for Matt and George to go to the Spurs match.
The Guna Trust. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Honestly, Lily was amazing.
Lily,
such
Claude's daughter.
Such amazing support from the Arsenal fans. We were raising money to get medical care for George as well, and we had so many comments from our lovely Arsenal community, didn't we? So after we were gifted some tickets while George was poorly, you know, we were trying to think of ways that we could, you know, help other people in our situation, things that George would love, and just really keep our little boy's memory alive. And we know that he would be very, very happy that this season we've managed to purchase 2 club tickets in George's name. So they're actually in the name of Gorgeous George, which was his nickname. And we are gifting those each match to a child with cancer and a family member. So they don't need to come with us. They just go and have a nice time, and we write them a little letter from George explaining, you know, where the seats are, where to go, and a little bit about George, and put some pictures in there of him as well. And it's just been a lovely thing for us to do, hasn't it? We know he would definitely be very happy about this. So, yeah.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Brilliant. Unbelievable. And you and that's for every game.
Every game.
Every home game, yeah.
Yeah, so every home game.
But like Lou said, when we got the tickets from Lily, I know that was one of the best days of George's life.
Yeah.
They were great seats, they were right on the tunnel, and it just made his day. You know, we had time together, precious time, because it was running out, and we won, 3-1. Spurs, we won. Yeah.
We've actually managed to spot him on the Arsenal documentary as well, didn't we?
I think
you can see him because we know where he was sat. We literally could freeze the frame and see him
he was
in the crowd. Happy, wasn't he? Yeah, he was like jumping up. So
we did win that one.
Oh, that's fantastic, fantastic. And how do people find out more that if they've say got a child who's got cancer?
So they can email us at helpgorgeousgeorge@gmail.com, and they just need to send us like a copy of a diagnosis letter from their clinical nurse or doctor, and get in touch with us. You know, we love to speak to families that are in the position that we were in, because until you're on that path, you know, you can never ever understand the true horror of it. You know, one day we were a normal family. George has got an older brother, Jamie, and a little sister, Izzy, and then the next day our lives were totally obliterated and torn apart, and they've never resumed, because now, you know, every day we wake up without our little boy, and that's why it's so important for us to do this, because we know
did that sort of help going to the Arsenal and things like that?
100%. This is where we feel so close to him, don't we?
I mean, the memories through Arsenal, what I particularly have, like, I get them all every time we go back. Lou, you went with him a lot on his last year.
Yeah.
It just, and he loved it. It was when he gave us a smile, when he weren't feeling great. As soon as he got in the Emirates, he was back smiling. So
we even had times where we were told they probably didn't want him to leave the hospital, but we knew that he was on borrowed time and he really, really wanted to go to the Arsenal match.
The home game coming up,
Yeah, so we would take him. We had the Arsenal...
He'd be going, he's not even 100%.
Yeah, I mean, when we say one doctor did not want to let him leave the hospital, did they?
No.
But we had like all the medical team on standby at Arsenal, and he was so brave. He just breezed everything, didn't he? He was like...
Arsenal were great.
Arsenal were amazing.
When he was unwell.
So you had to tell, obviously, Arsenal that he was coming out of hospital. What hospital was it? Great Ormond Street?
So he was under Great Ormond Street, but this time he was actually in our local hospital. Great Ormond Street were fantastic, and they were really supportive of him being able to get out and do what he wanted as well. I think at our local hospital, because they deal less with children with brain tumours, they were a little bit more hesitant and resistant, but our consultant was really on board with George getting to do the things that he wanted to do.
So what you had to do was to write to Arsenal and tell them that this is what is happening, and they was very very supportive.
I mean,
Lou, they were great.
You had like a contact.
Yeah, I made a really good contact there.
They were that good that there was one time we were coming in, I think it was, I can't remember what game, Southampton it was.
Yes.
And George weren't feeling very well on the way in, but they used to let us park under the Emirates.
Yeah.
And Lou spoke to her friend on the way and said, look, George ain't feeling too great, so I'm not sure what we're going to do. And she said, right, okay, let me talk to my boss. So they let us into the press area, let us have a press seat for the game, because that was so near to the entrance where the players come in. The ambulance is just there, so if anything happens, we've got everything here, so please still come to the game, you'll be all right. And that's, Arsenal were quite good like that.
They were amazing, and it was COVID times as well, so it was a little bit more difficult for George to have those kind of special times that a child with cancer would have out of COVID times, where wishes could be made, where he'd be able to go down pitch side and meet the players and stuff like that. So that wasn't an option at that time, but they made sure that they made it really special. And Mikel Arteta actually wrote to us at home personally, didn't he? Because he met George and said how sad and sorry he was when he heard that George had passed away. He wrote us a personal note.
They actually invited us in that same game against Southampton, because we were in the press area. They come up to us at half time and said, look, after the game, do you want to come in and watch the press conference with Mikel and the Southampton boss? We said, yeah, we'd love to. They said, you'll be all right, because there'll only be you three in there and a camera lady. So we were like, brilliant, yeah. So we went in there, and after all they had done their press bit, Mikel come out and he spent a good 20 to half hour, brought a shirt out from Saka for George. He was talking, and then we're talking in COVID times as well. He was like, he really went beyond. He
said he couldn't imagine how we felt. He was such a lovely family man, because he said his son was the same age as George, and you know, he was just so kind, wasn't he? Like the smiles that George gave that day, honestly.
That must have made his day.
We've got, I mean, even at George's celebration of life, we actually played, that was in the little video, because it was important that Arsenal was weaved into that little video, wasn't it? So
it's a can't buy experience. You can't buy that, and it was it happened for us just because.
Who was George's favourite player?
He loves Saka. So we're looking after his guinea pigs. He's got Saka, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli, and then we just added to last week, didn't we? We bought a Trossard, a little grey one. So.
And I noticed you didn't mention Smith Rowe from last night either.
Yeah, he done well.
I thought he done all right.
Yeah,
you didn't mention Smith Rowe. What are you up to?
Well, I'm sorry about that. Sorry, Emil.
Well done for pulling him up on that. You know what I mean? But what you guys are doing is amazing, and I love the fact that, you know, through the tragedy, you know, you were able to give him such great memories, but now you're passing that on. You're saying, right, we're gonna help to create that for other people going. I think that's such an amazing thing to do, and
we love doing it. We love doing it.
It is for us as well to be able to give that back to others. You know, that experience that George received, it just means the world. And hopefully, you know, the children that get to go, there'll be lasting memories for all of their life, and they'll live long, happy lives. But, you know, in the instance where, like us, that isn't the situation, those parents will treasure those memories beyond belief. So
I was going to ask you that, how important those memories are.
Unbelievable. Just the pictures. This is what we've got left now. So
I mean, when he's unwell, when George was unwell, it's funny, you don't really remember much before that.
No.
You sort of just remember this horrendous year. But in that horrendous year, we had some really lovely times, and most of them were at the Emirates.
Is that what you wanted to do? Did was it like, do you want to go to Disneyland, want to go to the Emirates or things like that? Or
he would want to go back to Disney again, wouldn't he? But because of COVID.
Yeah, we're not going to lie.
He did want to go back to Disney, but honestly, if we could get him to every home game, that was one happy boy, wasn't it?
He was happy.
Yeah.
That's a shame, man. You should have got, because I did interview you one time, didn't you? Yeah. You was showing me that.
Yeah.
Was that a time when he was there, or?
So that was the first match we went to after George passed away. Right. That was the match at home against Man U in April 2022, wasn't it?
3-1, didn't we? We were quite happy that day in that sense.
It was really difficult to go.
Really.
What was that like, going back to the Emirates for the first? That must have been tough on you guys.
Really difficult, and even now, going on Saturday, like I was crying the whole way to the train station on Saturday, just because it was the same weekend that 2 years ago George and Matt had been, where it was 3-1 against Spurs.
Actually, and all those, with the Lily tickets.
Yeah, with the Lily, with the Lord Gunnar Trust tickets. And just remembering how happy they were. We could only get 2 tickets that day, but we met them afterwards and staying in London, and those memories. And so, you know, it's still really emotional, but particularly that first match.
He spoke about that all night. Yeah. He just kept going on about the result.
So on the way out of the Man United match, we walked past Robbie doing his little filming, and Matt said, you should go on there. George always wanted, one of us to go on Arsenal TV, and that he didn't need to say anymore, did you?
You were straight over there.
I wriggled my way in.
Oh, brilliant.
And then
brilliant.
you put it online for us, so we were really, really grateful.
Oh,
so
listen, what you guys are doing is amazing. We're going to put also that email address in the description, so people can get in contact with you if they're interested, and keep it up. It's absolutely amazing. And don't go anywhere, because I wanted to talk about the game coming up at the weekend.
Yeah, I just want to say, big up to you two,
it's amazing.
It's amazing what you do.
It's amazing. I mean, when I met them and I heard the story about you, I've got to get you on, because it's fantastic.
And how are you two guys now? How is the family and everything
Things will never be the same, and we wake every day, and we haven't got our little boy, and our hearts are broken. We just try and get through the days, but these kind of things, and coming on here, this is just like George's dream. So I know he's watching down, and his brother and his sister are just devastated, aren't they? His whole family's devastated. We didn't know that there would ever be a thing in this country where there's a 0% chance of a cure for a little 12-year-old boy. So if anybody out there does want to support any charities, then brain tumour charities are a good way to go, because there's such a risk with being the biggest killing cancer of our children as well.
It's the one without, like Lou said, there's no cure. So it needs research, because there needs to be a cure, and there will be one day, but they need money for that. So
I'm doing a skydive 2 weeks on Saturday. So I'm doing it with a group of other mums. We've all lost our children to brain cancer. So the children range from little Harry, who's 2, up to I think the eldest is Ethan, who's 17. There's 8 of us. We're jumping out of a plane together. We think...
Are you scared?
No, because once you've seen your child be as brave as they need to be and go through that, you are literally never scared of anything again. True. So us mums, I can't even stand on the loft ladder. I'm so scared of heights.
You don't?
No, I don't. I literally don't. There could be anything up in our loft. So
it's a little bit higher than the loft ladder. Are you sure you're not scared?
No, I'm not. So us mums, we feel like we're going to be close to our children up there in the sky.
Fantastic.
And together we're going to try and raise £100,000 for the Tessa Jow Foundation, because they've just launched Children's Centres of Excellence. They'll be launching this December, which, when you have a child going through cancer, it's really important that journey is good, because otherwise you can be left with a lot of trauma as well. So their focus is not only on kind of helping to cure those brain tumours, it's also about the journey along the way, making sure that journey is the best it can possibly be for those children going through that cancer journey. So if anybody wants to, am I allowed to give a shameless plug to it? Of
course, give a shameless plug.
If anybody wants to find that, they can go on Just Giving and search Angel Mums Skydive. So the skydive is all one word. There's a picture of all the 8 mums and their little children on there as well.
Give us a link for that as well. Put that
I
in
will,
the description
thank you.
well.
That'd be amazing.
I've got some breaking news as well. Lee's offered to come on it with you.
Yay! We've got a spare space.
You're going to jump up?
Well, I'd never do that. I'd never do that like that.
I'm sure we can find a spare space.
I admire you for doing it. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, it's a bit high for me.
Yeah. I'm not great at heights. Are you great at heights?
I'm all right, but when you now start to know that you are actually going to drop, no, I wouldn't be good with that at all.
I think when you're so high, there is no height, is there? I'm not doing it.
No,
so.
that's it.
He's trying to reassure me,
You ain't doing it.
No, I think we wanted to do something that was going to really put us out of our comfort zone as well.
Yeah, 100%.
These children go through a lot. In 11 and a half months that George was ill, he had 3 brain surgeries, all sort of like 9-10 hours long. He had another surgery for a shunt, probably about 5 chemos, painful immunotherapy in Germany. This was just to get him to last for 11 months.
And one of those was in America. It's in a strange country.
Yeah.
I mean,
when he woke up, he said this is the worst holiday he'd ever been on. Bless him, he saw everything as like a real kind of positive.
But his doctor was a gooner.
Yeah, he might be coming over next year.
Yeah.
That's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, he might come and see us next year, and we're going to try and get him to a match. We've stayed in touch with him. So Arsenal connects people everywhere, doesn't it?
Yeah, trust me. We was in America. There's loads of Arsenal fans over there. Massive following. So, but listen, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Good luck with that. And and as I said, stay here because game at the weekend.
Bournemouth.
Beside the seaside.
Beside the seaside.
But a game that we have to win with.
Yeah, a game we've got to win. We've got hospitality, haven't we? Thanks to Joe and BHS B&H, sorry, B&H, like the
Big
air
demand.
conditioning. Yeah, they've invited us down for a meal.
I'm looking forward
Sounds
to that.
good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Joe. We're looking forward to that. Like, you know, it's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
hard to get tickets for
That's
this game.
it. That's
as
the
well.
thing. That game actually is one of the hardest games to get tickets for, because they've got such a small ground. It was about 11,000, so you only get about 800 tickets.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
or
really
less
like-
than that. But I'll say one thing, right? If you can ever get a ticket to that game,
It's a great game.
I love it.
It's a great game.
It's such a unique ground because it is small, but you're so close to the players.
They even come and say hello to you, don't they?
Yeah,
Like,
you're
mad.
you're literally here and they're there. It is a very unique experience as regards to going to football in the Premier League, and it's just always quite friendly there. You know, what I mean, it's never an hassle or anything. It's I like going there. I like that. I'm glad that they're still in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to give it up to Bournemouth. They're a team that punch so far above their weight.
It's a funny
know?
thing because, and I don't mean this horribly, there is that thing with Bournemouth where even if with an away ticket, even though you're not guaranteed of you know, so I was thinking, I like going to the games, maybe I do want them down. And then we met Joe, and he said, like, no, next year you can come to, like have a hospitality, because he's B&H air conditioning. They're actually sponsoring the game as well.
Okay.
So like it's like proper. So from then on, I'm going, come on, Bournemouth, stay up. Come on, Bournemouth.
This guy, man, I
Come
tell you,
on, Bournemouth.
he's unreal. He's unreal. Even without that, I wanted him to stay up because I do like the fact that it's just such a unique.
Yeah, it's unique. It's a lovely
unique
place, like,
experience, you know what I mean? I like it there, man. I like it there. But listen, we can't take that game lightly.
No, not at all.
I remember last year when they beat Liverpool. You know, they've given teams some tough games. Even
Never
though
easy to go there and win, to be
they
honest.
haven't started the season great, but we've got to go and get 3 points there in order to set us up for that game against Man City. That's the big one the week after, just before the international break. It's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Massive. I honestly think, I know you might think I'm being silly here, right? If we don't win this game, right?
What, Bournemouth or City?
Bournemouth, forget about Man City, forget about Bournemouth. I think we're under the pump for the title. That's how big this game
it'd be
is.
tough.
I really do. You can't afford to drop points like Fulham. And no disrespect to Bournemouth, those sort of teams. You know that Manchester City are going to go there and win. You know that Liverpool will go there. I think they've already
They
won.
did last year. They lost last year.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah, but
they
I
won
think
it. They won it this year. You know what I mean? Like, so it's important that that you. Yeah. So I listen. I've enjoyed that yesterday, but now I'm nervous for this game because it is a massive game for us. I really do think it is. It's no good like. Losing and drawing at Bournemouth and then going and beating Man City. You've got to nail both, and I think this is a very, very important game, and one that we can't take lightly. I've already, on the Forever Arsenal going, we can rest Saka for this game because it's Bournemouth, and no
Rest?
No.
Chance.
No, you know what they're like on there.
Who said that?
Turkish.
That's
no,
ridiculous.
definitely weren't Turkish. Silly, soppy Jordan was. You know what I mean? Like Jordan and
No, you can't risk.
No. Play your best players for this game. If Saka's fit, Saka plays. Jesus is fit, he plays. Listen, if Martinelli is 100% fit, he plays.
I mean, to be honest, I'm sort of understand why he might want to say rest some of those players because we've got a game on Tuesday. This is the thing. We've got Lons away in the Champions League, and that's an important game as well. But for me, right now, every game. The game in front of you is the most important
one, yeah.
And we need to win that game. We need to win that Bournemouth game.
And that will help mentally, won't it, going in anyway? So
momentum is key, but Declan Rice should be back, shouldn't he?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah,
never been injured for West Ham.
Never injured for West
Ham.
Never injured, comes to Arsenal on the back. You know what I mean? Thomas Partey, never ever injured when he's at Atletico. Turns up at Arsenal.
He's never fit.
No, he's never fit.
No, he's never fit. It's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's incredible.
Trossard, just before the North London derby, flying 2-in-2, looking sharp.
Really good, yeah.
Right. Oh, no, Trossard, he's out. He felt something. And what's going on?
dropped his spoon in the canteen and felt saying as he picked it up. Like, you know what I mean? Unreal.
Yeah, it was really, you know. Yeah, the other thing I want to ask you was this, right? I don't know if you've seen loads of rumours this week about 2 strikers, and I looked at that miss last week by Jesus, and I looked at even Eddie Nketiah. I mean, Eddie Nketiah, good player. Jesus, very, very good player. But I don't think either of those are out-and-out strikers for me. And when I say out-and-out, top quality strikers that can maybe get you 25 goals in a season. I think if Arsenal had that, we've got a very, very good chance of winning the league if we had that player.
I think we all
right?
would. Yeah.
And I was looking at it this week. There's 2 players now that look like they could be available, right? There's Toney, where there's lots and lots of rumours flying around that, you know, Brentford will cash in on him in January. There's rumours anything between 60 to 80 million pounds will get him. He's been heavily linked with Arsenal. I've seen rumours where they said that Arsenal representatives have even spoken to him already. That interview that he gave with Stephen Bartlett, where out of the blue, remember, Stephen Bartlett was saying to him, "Oh, you're a Liverpool fan," and he said, "Oh, but he emphasised to say I've got a real soft spot for Arsenal, the way they play." He didn't need to say that, did he? He could have just said, "Yeah, I support Liverpool, but I play for Brentford." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So there's him. There's also the whole Victor Osimhen thing. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I have seen it. Unbelievable.
You know, he's suing his own club because you know they
took the mickey out of him.
They took the mickey out of him missing a penalty, which on social media, which he didn't like. He's really, really been angry about that. He scored during the week, didn't even celebrate. Wow. There's lots of rumours that he wants to leave. Maybe not a January thing, but he could go possibly in the summer. For you guys, and I'm starting with you, Lee, right? Which one of those 2 would you rather have? Right? I think Arsenal need to go and get a striker, and you know, I'd love a striker with Jesus. So you've got Jesus still in the team, but if you've got that firepower up there, when you've got, say, Toney up front or Victor Osimhen, I think that will frighten a lot of teams, right? If you can only have one of those 2, who would it be? Osimhen or Toney?
I think I'd go for Toney because I think it's going to be a little bit cheaper. Not that money matters, but also I think I'm going to say Premier League experience, Premier League proven.
Premier League ready.
Yeah, I just think that I will go down that route. I think we need to. I am convinced that we need to get somebody up front.
I think we are looking at a striker as well.
Yeah,
and as I said, the rumours around, you know, both those players. Apparently as well, Arsenal have, you know, over the summer reached out to Osimhen's representatives, showing a big interest in him as well. He would be expensive. You know,
how old is he? About 24?
24.
24.
Still
yeah,
only 24.
I'll change my mind then.
Right, he would be expensive. You're talking probably about 120, 130.
Yeah, and he's Tony's 27, 28.
Yeah.
So, I think like the age thing would fit into our.
Well, like you said, Toney would be Premier League ready. He wouldn't have to hit the ground
sometimes
running.
I think sometimes along the line, I think we've got players at the moment for now, but also for the future. So I think we've got to maybe sign someone for now. You know, we're in a position now where we could do really well for the next couple of years. Get someone in now that's ready. So maybe Toney. I don't know. Either one. I'm not bothered.
What about you two?
I'm with Lee.
I'm the same.
Yeah, I'd go Toney all day long. He's Premiership ready. The chances we create. I mean, you've seen him play. He'd get 25 goals easy.
We hoped it was going to be Jesus. We love Jesus, but he then had that long injury, didn't he?
Yeah. And he don't play the same. He's not direct. He's not like a centre forward.
Yeah, that's what I think. I look on Jesus. I'm like, he drifts around so much. He'll pick up the ball in deep pockets sometimes. I mean, that's his game.
Yeah,
I'm on about.
isn't he?
I just feel that Arsenal also need. You know, we need Jesus because he's a driving force in our team. Very important player. But I just think if Arsenal had like a killer up front, like either an Osimhen or a Toney, that's going to guarantee you 20 plus goals every season. That's if they were through the other day. There was 2 chances. Eddie had one, and also Jesus. They buried that. Yeah. We need someone that in a game where we're not maybe playing our best, but we always create chances. We always create chances, right? We need a guy that if we're not even playing at our best, he'll pop up and bang, like what Harry Kane used to do for Spurs. He carried them for years by doing that. We've got a very, very good team all round, and I just feel like I was imagining it today, and I was like, imagine if Arsenal had like Osimhen up front. So you're like Bournemouth this weekend, right? And you're like, right, I'm up against Saka on the right, Osimhen down the middle, Martinelli on the left, or it could be Trossard on the left, or it could even be Jesus on the right? Then, you know, behind them is like Declan Rice, and you're going to be scared, ain't you? Thinking, man, that's a bit, like with City at the moment where you think, well, Haaland, Rodri, De Bruyne, Foden out there, Grealish, you know what I mean? I think it's that one component that would just give teams that real. It would give us that real fear factor going into games. I think that could be one of the final things that Arsenal need. Yeah. And if they got the money to do it, I mean, I'd probably go Osimhen. Right. I love Toney as well. Listen, I'll take either, right? But if Arsenal said, right, now we're going to wait until the summer and we're going to get Osimhen, I'd be cool. But if they want, if it is Toney, I want Arsenal to go all out for him in January, because you know that Chelsea will be trying to get him. And I just think as well, if it's between us and Chelsea, we're a much better proposition than Chelsea right now.
I would rather we didn't have to wait for the summer. I'd rather go for January.
Go January and just get Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
I want to put it to people out there listening to the podcast and also watching this video. Who would you, the choice, Osimhen or Toney? Or do you think we don't need a striker, or do you think we do need a striker? I think we do.
Do you know what? I'm going to be really honest. I felt beginning of the season maybe we didn't, because we had Jesus, but after watching the last few games, I feel now we definitely.
Do you know what? It's not even that for me. I just feel that even if Jesus is banging in the goals, I remember he scored a couple this season. It's not like he's been. But I know we all remember the chance he missed in that game. But he's been, since he's come back, he's been good. I think even with him playing well, I still would like to see Arsenal go and get an out-and-out striker, good in the air, target man who just in and around the box. You don't have to drop into any pockets to pick it up. You just wait up there for Saka, Martinelli,
do your stuff,
Odegaard, all these players to be. And I think we all of a sudden have a very devastating team.
And he bullies, doesn't he? Toney bullies.
Yeah, he does.
He don't just, he gets in their face. He's on him. So
he's a confident player, isn't he? And he's got a great record in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love his self-confidence. Self-confidence. He's not. I remember when they had that game against City last year when Brentford beat City. He was brilliant that day, and you could see he had no fear of City. He had no fear whatsoever, and I just think he would be an outstanding signing.
And I think that if we did sign somebody, say like a Toney, it would just elevate us that little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Gives you that fear factor, and also we got to think about things like Champions League and that. So I think if you've got an Osimhen or you've got Ivan Toney, you increase your chances in that competition.
He's not cup tied.
No.
Osimhen is now.
Yeah, Osimhen would be, but Osimhen I don't think would be a January signing.
No, I think we need someone. I'm going with these guys now. Like, we need something in January.
So do you want Toney in January?
Yeah, January the 1st.
Get it done. Get our number 9, our out and out striker, and then.
And 27 is no age, is it really?
No.
I mean, Harry Kane.
Yeah,
we've got such a young team anyway, haven't we?
Yeah.
So the here and now.
So we all agreed we need to get in
we need someone in January.
Like we said, we just focus on the match ahead. We need to focus on the next transfer opportunity ahead. So January.
Okay. All right. Fine. Let's get your predictions.
You're outvoted.
I'll still go Osimhen though.
You'd be happy with either.
Let's get your predictions for the weekend. Let's start with the guys over here. Louise.
Oh, I'm gonna go 3-1.
3-1.
I like probably a 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
Clean sheet.
Yeah, clean sheet.
2-0. I've gone 2-0. I'll say 2-0.
I'm going 2-0 as well. I think, you know, we've been keeping clean sheets away from home. I think they're playing with pride to try and keep that clean sheet. So it won't be an easy game. No. Bournemouth, you know what I mean, they even though they've not been doing very good this season, they're going to want to, you know, Arsenal coming to town, so it's a huge game for them. But I feel that Arsenal will get the job done. The way we've been playing away from home has been really encouraging. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get the job done. Listen, I want to thank you guys for coming on today.
Thank you.
And wish you excuse me, all the success with all that you're doing in the memory of your son. It's absolutely fantastic. And we're going to put the link in the description for people to be able to get in contact with you if they're interested in taking up the tickets, and also the skydive, the big skydive that you're doing. Lee, it's still time, mate.
I want to know that. We want to know when you're safely back on the ground.
We'll let you know. We'll definitely let you know.
Let us know.
What are you frightening her like that for?
Well, I'm not. I'm just
safely back.
What date? When is the actual? When you do
14th of October.
14th of October, like, you know. So I want a text message on the 15th saying I am all right.
She's all right. Yeah.
You'll definitely get it. It'll be fun.
And Lee, thank you very much to you as well.
Yeah, looking forward to France as well. We didn't mention France. We've got
France,
Lons
away. Yeah, so looking forward to that. We're going to be travelling over. The good thing about there is actually you can go on the day. You could literally just go on, hop on the Eurotunnel.
Yeah, we'll do it. That's what we're doing, aren't we?
Mind you, they're not on strike or nothing, are they?
That's not as far as we're typical like Junior sorting it out like, and they're on strike, you know, when we've got a good deal.
Yeah, because it's not far from Calais.
No, it's only an hour.
Yeah, so you just hop over.
I've been there before. I went to the England-Wales game in the Euros.
I ain't been to London before. Exciting place?
It's nice. It's not. I wouldn't say it's exciting. There's not a lot there. It's a nice French village. Or it's not a lot of village. That's wrong to say. It's not like a major city. It's very, very nice.
I've seen
culture, Robbie.
Culture. I've seen many times like on TV, like when they show. I've watched a lot of their games last season, and they were good. And they had that second for fun. Now I'll tell you what, they had a great atmosphere.
It's lovely. It's a nice stadium. It's very nice.
The atmosphere there is going to be good. So I'm looking forward to that game. So that's next week Tuesday. But first of all, we've got to deal with the game in front of us. Bournemouth away. We're going to be there. Don't forget to check it out on AFTV. We'll be at the game. We'll be speaking to fans. Of course, we'll be in the studio doing a watch along as well. So make sure you don't miss that. And yeah, we're out of here now. This was a video and podcast was brought to you by NordVPN. Do not forget to check it out, right? They've got their special offer on right now where you get 4 months free with their brilliant 2-year plan. Click the link in the description right now to get involved. And of course, they've got their 30-day money-back guarantee, but you won't want your money back because it's a great feature, especially when you're going abroad. It really, really is good. So make sure you get involved. Click the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week with another Invincible podcast. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.